Silence. Do you hear it? Do you feel it? I have known silence all my life. All my life. But I have never known silence like this before. They say I cannot hear, but I hear more than you think. I feel vibrations. I can hear the soldiers when they march down the street, like I heard them here in this garden just a few days ago. I can hear a bee when it gets too close. I hear thunder, and I hear with my eyes. When you move, you speak to me. Your body says things you do not hear, that I hear. When you look at me, look into my eyes, I can hear you. I hear your mood and sometimes your thoughts. I can hear with my heart. My heart has heard joy, anger, fear, and love. It was those sounds that brought me to this garden the first time. But now, I hear nothing. And this silence is the most desperate sound I know. This garden was the end of my search. My search filled with the hope of finally being able to hear with my ears, to hear for the very first time. It all began one day as my brother was coming home from work. He encountered a large crowd of people blocking the street. He lingered to see what all the fuss was about. It was then that he saw him. A man, I later learned his name was Jesus, was talking to a blind man. What exactly happened is unclear. My brother's version didn't make much sense, but supposedly this Jesus spit on the ground, made some mud, rubbed it on the blind man's eyes, and suddenly this blind man could see. When my brother told me this, I did not want to believe him. But he looked me in the eyes, and his eyes don't lie. I heard with my heart that what my brother had seen was real. He had seen a miracle. I have always wanted to hear with my ears. This story my brother told gave me hope. Who was this man? If he can make a blind man see, could he also make a deaf man hear? I had to find out. I had to find this man and see if he could indeed work a miracle for me. It became our mission to again find this man. All of our searching seemed to be in vain. He was all around us, it seems, but we were always just a day or an hour behind him. We were where he was, but he was gone. Then, finally, we found him. here in this garden. We were outside the temple when the priests and their soldiers gathered. They were led by a man named Judas, a follower of Jesus. A man I later learned was a traitor. My brother overheard their plan to arrest Jesus. Why would they arrest a man who did such good things? I could not understand. We followed their torches into the darkness, hiding behind rocks and trees to this very spot. We watched, both frightened and at the same time hopeful. The man, Judas, approached the healer. He kissed him on the cheek, and there were some words. I could not hear them, but they were angry words. Not from Jesus, but from the crowd. One of the men with Jesus drew his sword and struck one of the men, cutting off his ear. I watched in amazement as Jesus picked up the ear and placed it on the man's head. Totally healed. That was it for me. This was indeed the man who could work miracles. I had to get to him. I had to be touched by Jesus. I started to run to him, but my brother, seeing the danger at hand, held me back. Then, before I knew what was happening, he was gone. Soldiers arrested Jesus, dragging him down the hill. His disciples scattered like frightened children into the darkness. I missed my chance. I missed my miracle. And I heard sounds I did not like. I heard the faces of an angry mob. I heard vibrations of the cross being dragged through the street. I followed and watched, hopeful that this would somehow undo itself. I heard the earth vibrate with each blow of the hammer as they nailed him to that cross. I heard the thunder, the loudest I have ever felt. And now, the silence. The silence and the feeling I have lost all hope of ever hearing. No sound comes from my heart. There is no silence like the silence of a dead heart.